Hello students. So we will discuss today about the breakup of the syllabus of class 12th chemistry of CBSE board of 2020-21. So this has been published by CBSE website very recently, and hope that the same will remain and there will not be much change any further. If any change is there, I'll try to update you with that. As of now, these are the name of the chapters and the division of marks section wise it is given. So before we start with the chapters, what I'll do is I'll try to make you acquainted with the chapters which we need to learn, the time which we need to devote, the time which a teacher will devote on you, and the time which you need to devote on your self-study. Because getting good marks in board exam has more to do with how much you practice rather than how much hard work your teacher does. So ultimately you have to write in your exam, and when exam will be there, at that time only questions will be there which you have to solve, and no other factors will be determining how you perform. So you need to prepare yourself to tackle those questions. So the first chapter, solid states, then second is solution, likewise electrochemistry, chemical kinetics, and surface chemistry. So these 5 chapters, they consist of physical chemistry part. So together 23 marks will be awarded for the questions which will be set from these chapters. Now if I see the trend of the distribution of marks from each of these chapters by analyzing the previous year's question paper, what I find is that from solid states around 4 marks question comes, from solutions 5 marks question comes, from electrochemistry 5 marks question comes, and from chemical kinetics 5 marks question comes, and from surface chemistry 4 marks question comes. So together it becomes how much? This becomes 15 and 8. Together it counts to around 23. Now if solid state consists of 4 marks, so either there can be 2 marks questions, or there can be 1 2 marks question plus 1 3 marks question. So 1 2 marks question could be like define, distinguish, all that, and 1 3 marks question could be of numerical or vice versa. So either it could be knowledge based question, and this could be knowledge or understanding, and this could be based on skill, like your numerical abilities. So likewise solution chapter is there. So if it is of 5 marks, then further it could be divided into a set of questions like 2 marks plus 3 marks, or 3 marks plus 1 marks plus 1 marks. Like that also 5 marks can be given. Electrochemistry also is 5 marks, so it could be like 2 plus 3 or 1 plus 1 plus 3, like that. So as the higher weightage will be, that many types of question or possibility of question could be there. Like basically the type of question which comes is definition based, or distinguish, between based or reasoning based. And nowadays one question is coming which is called as assertion based. Like there will be one statement given or a couple of statements given. You have to find out whether the statement and the reason given is true, or if the statement is true but the reason is wrong, or both are wrong, or both are correct. So in that way assertion based question also comes of 1 marks. That is a new trend now. Now if you practice these 23 marks question well, so out of 70 marks, which is pass mark in theory, 23 is the pass mark, we all know. So up to this you will ensure that at least you are going to pass, but that should not be our target. Now next comes, so it is of now after that comes inorganic chemistry. So inorganic chemistry will be up to what? Inorganic chemistry will be up to coordination compound. So from here to here, these are inorganic chemistry. In inorganic chemistry, little higher marks are there, and the types of question are also vivid. So in inorganic chemistry there can be explanation based questions, explain, give reason. There could be a set of definition. They could be distinguished between also. There could be interpretation of graph in the periodic table, then reactions, properties, repression. So these all will be there in nomenclature of inorganic compounds, structure. So all that could be there. So in general principles and process of isolation, this chapter will be nothing much new for you. A part of that you have already studied in class 10. Little bit more will be there in that, in which you will study about the general process of extraction of metals from minerals. So again, concentration of ore, roasting, calcination, froth flotation, reduction by using carbon, reduction by electrolytic decomposition, all that will be there in this chapter. In P block elements, if you have studied periodic table in class 11 very well, then P block elements will be also very easy, in which you have to study about a few compounds in the P block and their properties and how they are occurrence, about their occurrence, where they occur, how they occur, their structure and their uses. All that questions will be there. Again in D and F block, many reasoning based question comes. Even in P block also, D block also, like from P block, reasoning based on inert pair effect. Then in D block, reasoning based on DD transition. All that questions are there. In coordination compound, the questions based on structure, nomenclature, then types of isomerization, then reasoning based question on the stability of the molecule. All that could be there. So if you prepare this much, then you will secure 19 marks more. So together it will become 23 plus 19 will become 2 and 5. Now if you get 52 out of 70, now say if you get 52 out of 70, let me change the color of the pen so that discussion becomes a little more interesting. If you get 52 out of 70, and if your examiners of practical exam are generous enough and they fetch you 30 marks, so you will be getting 82 marks out of 100. Now rest 28 marks is of organic chemistry and is completely based on the topic which you have studied in class 10, that is carbon and its compounds. The same methods of nomenclature will be there, but here a few name reactions will be there, isomerization will be there, structure writing will be there, preparation will be there, mechanism will be there, and you have to focus a little bit in mechanism part here and the name reactions. Then these part from say haloalkanes to biomolecules, these of organic chemistry, and polymer and chemistry in everyday life. This I would not include in organic chemistry because polymer could be there in organic chemistry, but chemistry in everyday life, it has got interdisciplinary aspect. So there are many things which are not organic in nature which we also use in chemistry in everyday life, like surf, soap, all that, detergents. Many synthetic medicines are also there. So this partially comes in organic and partially does not come. So together we can consider this as organic compound and organic chemistry, and together it consists of 28 marks. So if you now score now if you score 23 plus 19 plus 28 out of 70, then you will get 70 out of 70. Now some do's and don'ts. What are those things which you should do and which you should not do? Now many students, what they do is, initially they fail to retain their focus in studies and they think that in the 11th hour they will cover up. But if you will see the exercises of these chapters, there are variety of questions, theory questions also and numerical questions also. And it's not that only theoretical questions will come, and it is also not that only numerical based questions will come. Okay. So there will be always a mix of theoretical questions and numerical based questions. Now from which chapters numerical based question comes? For sure, one numerical will come from this chapter. And if you prepare for numerical of 3 marks, you will be able to tackle numerical of 2 marks also. 1 marks numerical generally does not come. From this chapter, 2 to 3 marks numerical. From this chapter, there could be 1 5 marks numerical also. Means an integrated question in which there will be numerical as well as there will be some theory also. From chemical kinetics, it is expected that there can be 1 long answer type numerical problem. So if there is short answer type numerical problem, then there will be some theoretical questions. So minimum 4 numericals will be there. Now if I take average to be say 3 marks numerical, so out of 70, 12 to 15 marks will be of numerical. Now if you think that no, I will not focus in numerical because I am poor in mathematics, what I will do is I will only focus in theory. Then what I will do is I will eliminate these 15 marks from here. is minimum. There could be little more also. It could be 20 marks also, but it does generally not reach up to that. So it becomes 5 and 55. So if you omit numericals, you will get 55 out of 70. But if you practice numericals, it's not that you will not be able to tackle all 12 marks numericals. At least you will be getting some marks for attempting the numerical, for writing the given value, for using the correct formula. Alright. So if you are partially strong in the numericals, and say if you get 6 marks in the numericals, so it would be 61 out of 70. So 61 out of 70 means if you get 13 practical, you will get 81 out of 70, 81 out of 100. So it is advisable that learn the theory well, but then also do not avoid the numericals, because numericals are inevitable. They will come, definitely it will come, and it will come for 12 to 15 marks. Now after that, what about the theoretical questions from these chapters? Now what kind of theoretical questions can come? Although when I will be discussing individual chapters, I will be giving more emphasis, and at the end of the chapters I will be analyzing past few years question papers question also. But now to give you an overview of the whole syllabus, now say theoretical question if it has to come, then what can come is from solid states. Distinguish between question could be there, like distinguish between crystalline solid, amorphous solid, isotropy, anisotropy, ferromagnetic substance, ferrimagnetic substance, paramagnetic substance, diamagnetic substance, N-type semiconductor, P-type semiconductor. And if you prepare distinguish with type of questions, then you will be also able to tackle defined types of questions. You will be able to define what is crystal defects, what is point defect, what is Frenkel defect, what is Schottky defect. So define, distinguish you will be able to do. Alright. Now next is solutions. In solutions, some questions could be based on application of Henry's law. Some question could be based on Raoult's law. Some theoretical questions can be based on osmotic pressure, and some reason behind all colligative properties. That is the trend. Now numericals can also come in this again. So there are 5 different types of numerical which can come from here. A numerical based on Raoult's law, numerical based on Henry's law, numerical based on depression in freezing point, numerical based on depression in elevation in boiling point, numerical based on osmotic pressure, and numerical based on Van 't Hoff factor and abnormal molecular mass. Similarly, in electrochemistry, there are 50% chances that there will be theoretical questions and 50% chances that there will be numerical questions, and there will be a mix and match. Both will be there. Alright. So in this numerical I have discussed what kind of numerical will be there, and individually when I will discuss chapter it will be there. So again, in electrochemistry you may be asked about principal construction and working of cells. You may be asked to derive equation for the net EMF of a given cell. You may be asked to write cell notation, represent a cell, or feasibility of a reaction by finding out Gibbs free energy value. All that could be there. Likewise, surface chemistry, it's a very easy chapter. Not much numerical will come. You have to only understand one physical chemistry or a little bit of physical phenomena related to Freundlich adsorption isotherm, in which the concentration of the absorbate on the adsorbent, which is proportional to the concentration and the pressure raised to the power reciprocal of the order of adsorption. This thing you have to study and the trend of that. After that, more of colloids. What are colloids? Different types of colloids, missile, missile, critical missile, concentration. So more about short notes type of questions may come from this. So not much of calculations. In general principles and extraction, you may be asked about concentration of ore, then calcination of ore, roasting of ore, Froth flotation of ore, electrolytic reduction of the aluminum oxide, Hall-Hérold's process, leaching, chemical methods of removal of gangue from the ores. All these type of questions may come. In this chapter there is one Ellingham diagram. That Ellingham diagram is all about comparing the Gibbs free energy for a couple of reaction in which one of the metal is less reactive than the other and can displace it, like in aluminothermite process. Aluminium can displace iron from iron oxide and iron can be obtained and aluminum oxide will be formed. So there are a few reductions which cannot take place by carbon. So reason of that can also be given. There are a few reactions which cannot be done by aluminothermite process, like say zinc oxide cannot be converted into zinc by using aluminium. So such kind of questions can be answered by showing the curves in the Ellingham diagram. Then p block elements, you have to first of all understand the electronic configuration of each of the representative p block elements, starting from boron to the noble gases. Some questions come from interhalogen compounds. Some questions come from even the reaction of noble gases, particularly in case of xenon and hydrolysis of xenon oxide. These are examiner favorite questions. And preparation of some chemicals like ammonia, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and properties of the compounds of elements of p block elements, not the lower elements but the upper few elements like phosphorus pentoxide, phosphine, P4, allotropes of phosphorus, like that. And many reasoning based questions can also be there from p block elements. So I will be sharing the Google Drive link of the list of reasoning based questions which I have prepared. In D and F block elements, the property of D block elements, how it is different from other block of elements, why they are called as transition elements, what is lanthanide contraction, what is D transition, why D block elements are colored, why they have magnetic property, why they act as good catalyst. All those questions will be there. In coordination compound, you will understand that why coordination compounds are formed, why complex compounds are formed, Werner's theory, isomerization, IUPAC naming of coordination compounds. Like that, there are a variety of questions which can come from this, and is very interesting. Once you understand these concepts, you will not forget. Then in haloalkanes, alcohols, carboxylic acid and amines, I would consider all these chapters as these chapters, like say from unit 10 to unit 13, I would consider to be the same. You can start with haloalkane, convert them into haloarine, start with haloalkane, convert them into alcohol, convert them into phenol, convert them into ether, and vice versa. Convert alcohol to aldehyde, convert alcohol to ketone, convert aldehyde to carboxylic acid, and vice versa. These can be there. So there can be question based on interconversion of one functional group to another, IUPAC name of the organic compounds, then distinguishing the similar functional group isomers, like how will you distinguish between phenol and alcohol, how will you distinguish between the positional isomers, like say acetone and propanaldehyde. So how they can be distinguished? So these distinguishing tests also helps. There are a few list of name reactions, like say from haloalkanes and haloarenes, Finkelstein reaction, Schwartz reaction, Woods reaction, Fiedel-Crafts alkylation. These kind of reactions would be there. Alright. So most of the name reactions, however, is from aldehydes and ketones. And then from amines, earlier this chapter used to be organic compounds containing nitrogen, in which we had to study about cyanides and isocyanides, but this time some relaxation is given that cyanides and isocyanides will not have to be studied, but I suggest that you study that because it will help you in future. Biomolecule is also a very small and interesting chapter in which you study about carbohydrates, protein, fats, vitamins, hormones, their structures, steroids, and protein synthesis, structure of protein, types of carbohydrates, how to distinguish between glucose and fructose, aldose and ketose, then structure of glucose molecule, structure of fructose molecule, structure of disaccharides, then various chemical linkages like glycosidic linkage between two sugar molecules, peptide linkage between two amino acid molecules. Then in case of polymers, you will start with polythene, then polyvinyl chloride, then many addition polymers, condensation polymers, in which small units will be joining to form long chain like bakelite and all will be there, in which you may be asked to write down the constituent monomers of a given polymer. You may be asked to name a particular polymer for a particular kind of a work. Say for example, if you have to use a polymer for making handles of cooking utensils, what kind of polymer would you use? So these decision making questions can also be there from polymer. Little bit of structure making questions can also come, like writing down the structure of biodegradable polymer, then what are the different type of polymerization, mechanism of addition polymerization, mechanism of the chain reaction which takes place in polymerization reaction, all that can come. In chemistry, in everyday life, we study about various compounds which we use in our daily life, particularly the drugs, cosmetics, disinfectants, pesticides, insecticides, so on. So if you start studying from now, and if you don't think that chemistry is tough, it will be very easy. So I will be trying to break each of these chapters into small chunks. So if you view my channel regularly, you will find that I will not be discussing lot of bulk in my channel, but there will be small portion of a particular chapter, and you can always revise that because these will be freely available, and you can just click and listen to that. More you listen, more you see, more you remember. But one thing is there, a small suggestion what you need to do is keep a practice notebook always. My students ask me that how to take down notes, whether teacher should keep the notes or they should make the notes. I would say that teacher can always give you notes because they keep on preparing notes every year while they make lesson plan. So it is not difficult for teacher to give you notes, just like it is not difficult for a bodybuilding trainer to lift any instrument or to show any exercise for throughout the day. But the one who has to build the muscle will have to do the exercise. Hence, I suggest that you keep your practice notebook, and if you lose papers, so in your practice notebook what you do, make the textual notes. Whatever is there in the text, all definitions, distinguish between, all that type of question in the form of notes you can prepare on your own. Your brain will remember what you write in your own handwriting. So hence I suggest that you prepare your notes on your own. And there are many questions in the exercises in the form of numerical as well as question answers. So for in-text questions and exercise questions, you can use loose papers and you can start solving questions and you can file them together. Or you can staple them, chapter wise you can staple them. So if you staple them chapter wise, then maybe you will get 3 bunches, one for the physical chemistry part, one for the inorganic chemistry part, and one for the organic chemistry part. So in these 3 bunches, you can, whenever you revise, you can divide your time. Say for example, if next day is your exam and you have 9 hours to prepare, so you can give 3 hours to each of these sections. Now out of these 3 hours, whichever chapter you feel that is more difficult, give more time to that. The chapter which you feel that has become easier, give less time to that. So you can always strategize your self study only if you have owned your learning material. But if you borrow your learning material from others, then you will not be undergoing the process of learning, and the notes taken by somebody else will be the product which will not come into use. In Sanskrit there is one slok, a good saying. It is said that pustake sthit vidya cha parastgatam dhanam kare kale na samat punne na tad vidya na tad dhanam. इसका मतलब ये है कि जो ज्ञान किताब के अंदर है या दूसरे से लिए हुए नोट्स के अंदर है या टीचर के दिए हुए नोट्स के अंदर है, और जो पैसे आपके जेब में नहीं है, किसी और को दिए हुए हैं, जब ज़रूरत पड़ेगी तो वो काम नहीं आएगा. इसलिए अपनी पढ़ाई को अपने नोट्स में समेटिए, और जो अपने नोट्स को आप बनाएंगे, जो अपने नोट्स को आप समेटेंगे, वो आपके दिमाग तक चले जाना चाहिए. ठीक है? तो जब आपके दिमाग तक, आपके ब्रेन तक आपका हैंड रिटन नोट्स चला जाएगा, तो ही आपका हैंड एग्ज़ाम में लिख पाएगा. क्योंकि एग्ज़ाम में टीचर लिखने नहीं आएगा, आपको लिखना पड़ेगा. ये आपका ब्रेन और आपका हाथ काम करेगा. इसलिए इस चैप्टर्स की तैयारी टीचर्स के हेल्प से, टीचर्स हर तरह से प्रयास करेंगे कि आपको वो इनपुट दे. उन इनपुट्स को अपने कानों के द्वारा, अपने आँखों के द्वारा और अपने प्रैक्टिस के द्वारा अपने ब्रेन के अंदर डालें, तो ही एग्ज़ाम में आपका आउटपुट 100% आएगा. मुझे आशा है कि आपको ये मेरी बात समझ में आई होगी. थैंक यू. और अब स्लोली मैं इन चैप्टर्स के ओवरव्यूज़ और इसके अंदर के क्वेश्चन के सॉल्यूशन स्लोली मैं इसी तरह से डालता रहूँगा, छोटे छोटे टुकड़े करके. बहुत लंबा नहीं करूँगा ताकि आपको इंटरेस्टिंग लगे. और हर दिन 10 to 15 मिनट्स टाइम देकर भी आप इससे नॉलेज गैदर कर सकते हैं. वैसे टेक्स्ट बुक पढ़ना बहुत आसान है, लेकिन आजकल लोग टेक्स्ट बुक पढ़ने से थक जाते हैं, और जब सुनने का और देखने का सुविधा है तो क्यों ना हम सुनकर और देख के भी सीख लें. तो देयर इज़ नो हार्म इन लर्निंग फ्रॉम दी मॉडर्न रिसोर्सेज. सो यू मे ऑल्सो फॉलो माई YouTube channel. The link of that will be followed by the link which I am sending this. Through this link you can get into my channel and you can see. So see you in my next videos. Thank you.